Good morning. It's Vijay here. Today is Friday, 31st October 2025. Welcome to yet another episode of Pre-Market Commentary. Yesterday, many of the bulls must have been disappointed because they thought, after the Fed Reserve reduced interest rates and the so-called successful meeting between Trump and Xi in Korea should have ignited the markets. I say so called because I think it is all bluff and bluster as far as Trump is concerned, which is very typical of him. Really, nothing much came out of that meeting. And Fed Reserve, the positive was that they reduced interest rates, but also they put caution as far as the December meeting is concerned. So, all said and done, the Bulls had a short lived lap of victory over 26,000. But yesterday, there was selling right from minute one. Yesterday Nifty fell 155 points from the day's high and closed below 25,900. So a temporary victory for the bears. So one is wondering whether this is the pause that refreshes. Pause that refreshes is a very famous line of Coca-Cola many years ago that has been running for a long time. So is this the pause which is going to refresh as far as the Indian markets are concerned? I would tend to believe that. Let us see what the market has in store for us. So yesterday, apart from the Nifty falling and falling below 25,900, we had Bank Nifty which fell, I think, about 300 points. Sensex fell across the board. All the indices fell. There were very few winners actually. Even metal stocks took a reprieve. Among banks, Canara Bank Canara Bank did very well. We hold Canara Bank. We believe that there's some more distance to go. Coal India was the top gainer, and what else was there? Nifty Pharma was the top loser. Basically, Dr. Reddy got into trouble, and so it pulled the entire pharma sector down. So that is one of the problems in pharma sector. Yesterday, that something or other comes up, and then suddenly the prices start falling. And what else? So this morning, before that, yesterday, what happened was the Nifty futures, sorry, the Dow futures and Nasdaq futures were up through the day. Suddenly, they caught the chill in the evening when I think they began to understand that the meeting was not a great meeting between the Chinese premier and the US president. Of course, it was very volatile, and then it was closed in the negative, especially Nasdaq. But today is a completely different day. Yesterday, after hours, Amazon came with the results. Amazon surged about 13%. Therefore, Nasdaq is 300 points plus. Dow Jones also about 60 points plus. Uh, then yesterday, the main reason why markets came down in the US was Meta plunged about 11% after results. Microsoft dipped 3% due, even though the results were solid, and Alphabet went up 2.5%. Alphabet could not handle the kind of selling which was there. Nvidia also did well, but finally at the end of the day, the bears won in India as well as in the Nasdaq as well as in Europe. Gold gained about 1%. Silver also has gained significantly overnight. So we should see precious metals going up this morning as well as this evening in the US. US dollar index rose, which was quite some worrying sign. And then we had the oil. Oil was steady actually. Copper came down significantly, and now it has bottomed out in the sense for the day at least. It looks like same thing with zinc and aluminium. Interesting day today will be the Lenskart IPO is opening, or I would say Lenskart FPO is opening, because much part of it is being taken away by the promoters, and there is a lot of controversy on that. Most people are concentrating on the pricing or the PE ratio, which is 240 plus. Actually, the PE ratio is much more than that if you really go through the records. Very few people go through it. My concern is not about the P ratio. P ratio could be infinity. There are many stocks, many companies which are come with IPOs where the P ratio is infinity because there is no profit. However, what I am a little bit, you know, not little bit actually, very concerned about this issue is that the promoters bought from some foreign investors 3 months ago at around prices of say 20 when about 1/8 from there to the FPO price at 400. Now it has gone up by 8 times. So how is it possible? I mean, it's unthinkable actually that the savvy foreign investors will sell it to them just 3 months before at 1/8 the price, and these guys will get out at that 1/8 price at 8 times the price they have bought just 3 months ago. And it looks something is very as they say, something is rotten in the state of Denmark, is something is rotten in the state of IPOs. While there's nothing illegal, but there is something which is not meeting the eye. One has to be very careful when one applies. But you see, what happens is that there are something called anchor investors, the large investment bankers as well as the mutual funds apply for it even before the IPO opens, and it has been oversubscribed many times over. So when this morning when the IPO comes, there will be a gray market premium, which is apparently now 50% of the price, and therefore retailers will be sucked in, though that retailers have got only 10%. But I won't be surprised if lots of retailers are sucked in, and the issue gets oversubscribed on day one itself, and all the merchant bankers and the company will say what a great price it was. I think these kind of things, we saw it in 2021. Many companies came like Zomato, Mamaearth, then we had this Paytm, and all Nykaa. All these companies, then on listing, they started falling. And quite a few companies which came then didn't have not reached their IPO price or the opening day's price. But that is how markets are. We have to be careful in what we invest. I'm not recommending anything. I'm only stating the point that it looks ridiculous for somebody to buy 3 months ago and sell it to the market at about 8 times the price he has bought. However, if you look at the key names which have applied, their SBI mutual fund is there, about 100 crores they have put, HDFC mutual fund, ICICI Pru, Kotak Axis Mutual, and insurance companies like SBI Life, HDFC Life, Axis Max. The last time there was a frenzy of IPOs in 2021, the market peaked out a few weeks later, and then we saw a big bear market, especially in the mid and small cap. Many stocks went down 50% and above. In fact, if I remember right, more than 50 stocks went up 40% and lower after the highs which we saw in September 2021. Global participants have also been sucked in. You've got Government of Singapore, Norway Government Pension Fund, Fidelity Fund. I mean, the big names are there. But what I feel is more interesting is who has not applied. Who has applied? The whole world has applied. Who has not applied? We have PPFAS, which I expected they will not apply because they are much more sensible than all these momentum chasers. PPFAS is not the Parag Parikh Financial Services. They have not applied. Old Bridge has not applied. Again, a very sensible mutual fund. Helios, who's smart, they have not applied. Tata, for reasons best known to them, they have not done that. Nippon, Quant, Invesco, Quantum. I know the fund managers, and they are very, very sensible guys. They have not applied. Trust Mutual Fund, I think they are going by the name, which is they want to investors to trust in them. So they have not applied. So these are the names: PPFAS, Old Bridge, Helios, Tata, Nippon, Quant, Invesco, and Quantum and Trust. These are the mutual funds, large mutual funds, which are not applied. So there is merit in looking at why they are not applied. So given a chance, I would never have applied. I don't apply for IPOs, but this is one of the dangerous IPOs, I would say, because they are legally perfect. There is nothing you can find fault. And there have been some people arguing with me saying that you are jealous because entrepreneurs are not getting an exit. If this is the entrepreneurs we are going to celebrate, then God help us, because sooner or later, you must realize that mutual funds are putting money there, and if they lose money, then who's the loser? The poor guy who puts in mutual funds on trust is the loser. One has to be very, very careful, cautious to see which mutual funds are put, and see whether you want to take any action based on what the action of the mutual funds are. Because we don't have, we can't question the mutual funds because they are supposed to be repositories of faith. So they put in whatever they want to, but we have to be careful in where we put money. So next week we're having Grow, which is the largest brokerage, which is coming with their IPO at about 6,600 crore. This is about 7,500 crores, the one which is happening today, Lenskart. So IPOs are sucking in the money. So secondary market, especially in the mid, small, micro cap, those stocks will not perform, in my opinion, because of these kind of shenanigans. So if those sectors have to perform, then you need the money which has been put by retail investors in the mutual funds to actually move into the market, secondary market rather than the primary market alone. So today there is another QIP about 300 crore, 400 crores on V2 retail. So again, that will all get sucked in. So what happened to the fund flow? Yesterday, FIS sold heavily at 3,000 crores. DIS could not match. So there was a total selling of 600 crores. Yesterday, lots of earnings came. ITC, one of my favorite shares at one point of time, came and very what's it, pedestrian earnings, nothing great, but you never know markets if they're mood, they may take this up. DLF also came surprisingly very bad results. Net profit is down by about 14%. ITC was flat in terms of the net profit went up by only 2%. Then what other companies could be in limelight? Bharat Electronics, again they receive one order. Bharat Electronics continues to get orders, so there's always been in the limelight. TCS, they've entered into a 5-year agreement with Tata Motors, so some steady revenue is there. Swiggy has reported poor results, but they're coming with a 10,000 crores. They're going to raise 10,000 crores on November 7th. So you see, so many companies with questionable credentials are raising money, and so we have to be. I mean, we have to be watchful about the market movements. See, the indices may move. The large indices, the Nifty and Bank Nifty, they may begin to move up because the large investors, even the FIs put money there, whereas for the mid and small and micro cap, it's only the local mutual funds or the ultra high net worth individuals which should put money. Reliance is steady and strong because they have tied up with Google uh, to offer AI solutions. MTR Tech has got a big order of 264 crores. GE Shipping could be in the limelight because they're buying a Japanese bulk carrier. They're very smart in buying. GE Shipping always buys at the fag end of the cycle and then they benefit. So watch GE Shipping. I'll be watching GE Shipping. And HUL, they're demerging their ice cream business. They got the NCLT approval, so that may be in limelight. Indegene, they are infusing in about 8.5 million euros in their Irish arm. Indegene is one very interesting company. We used to hold it, but right now we hold very less of it actually. So Gift Nifty is not saying much. And what else? So yeah, that's where we are. As far as futures are concerned, the FIs have increased their short positions to 83%, though the overall exposure is less. I don't know why. So last month the exposure was huge. This time it's struggling at 138 lakh, 1,38,000 contracts. So incidentally, the Nifty futures at a discount, whereas it was not it was always at a premium last month. So all said and done, it looks like this is a pause that refreshes. Yesterday was a struggle for us in intraday trading because we do not short the market. We always buy on declines. So we have to do the same thing today. We will do the same thing today. Let's hope that today is a much better day than yesterday. Whatever you do, I hope it is successful. Thank you for joining me.